Welcome to the top four, playing against Tommy V, who has been a big help at the Zendikar Unified Pauper Seal League, helping out with our spreadsheets and automation system. So big ups for that. Thanks, Tommy. Um, he also says he likes to copy my decks because they're so good. So he's probably playing one of them. This hand's pretty great. He won the roll and put me on the play, so it makes me think he thinks we're gonna play like a grindy mirror match, and he's got green blue, so we'll see soon enough what he's playing. Evolving Wilds for Swamp, yep, so he's on the Sultai grind. Elvish Visionary, that seems like a fine target to get spell shriveled, since I just want cards on my graveyard for Treasure Cruise, and it denies him a card draw, so it's kind of like value, anti-value, we'll call that. I didn't draw an untapped land. I would have loved to have drawn an untapped land. I would have Treasure Cruise this turn, but holding open Bone Dash is satisfactory. So here, I could let it resolve and then just Fiery Impulse it, but I think I might as well just Bone Dash it. More mana efficient play. Lets me use all 4 of my mana, and it draws a card. Didn't hit a land, which is a little awkward. And so I could have Treasure Cruise there, but I would have to discard a lot, especially if I don't hit another land. So I figure I might as well just try to empty my hand a little bit. I can Arc Lightning his face, because I have plenty of Arc Lightnings left, and a Chandra's Fury, and then I can Fiery Impulse if he goes for like Vulturous Haven again or something. He goes for Morph, so that's Monastery Lore Master, and it's a little awkward. If I kill it, then he can get it back with Pulse, but he can get back the Haven with Pulse anyway, so I might as well just kill it. It makes my Treasure Cruise cheaper, and I take 0 damage from it. He doesn't have enough mana in play quite yet to be looping it with the Pulse of Murasa anyway. So, okay. That was pretty good for me. I hit a land, and now I still have Fiery Impulse open. Like I said, he has the play, which is Pulse for Lore Master. Go to 26. This is going to be a little rough for me, game 1, trying to beat this. He plays it again. I don't have a Touch of the Void yet. 4 of them in my deck, and I've gone through a third of my deck and still haven't seen one. So I think I just have to kill this guy again, because it's a mana efficient play. Here, I think I'm just gonna play my land and then cruise again. Or I guess not. Huh. Guess I don't want to discard. So I just waste my Sarkhan's Rage. Not waste it, but just cast it. He does nothing. Okay. Now I can Treasure Cruise this turn, potentially. Yeah. And I tap out just because if I would want to draw more... If I draw more cruises, I'm fine with, having more fodder in my graveyard. And I didn't think I was going to need to play anything else this turn, since he doesn't have any creatures in play. He has no pressure on me. So he keeps playing these morphs out. He's his second Lore Master here. I really want to find a Touch of the Void, because he's playing these out without having 6 mana open, so we can't get his Pulse of Murasa back yet. So Tormenting Voice, Rolling Thunder, yeah, this is slightly annoying. So I'm just going to try to kill this, 2 damage, and it's successful. I hope he doesn't have another Pulse. He only has 2 cards in hand. And if he doesn't play anything, it makes me think he probably has Oblivion Strike or Complete Disregard. Again, one of the benefits of playing a creatureless deck game 1. So I put some dead cards in his deck. Here, so I play my land, because I'm planning on winning with a big Rolling Thunder. I'm going to leave 2 mana open for like Negate, in case I draw Negate. And turns out I draw Spell Shrivel, so that's a little annoying. So I don't need to be doing these plays that I'm doing. I should have just been delving for maximum delve value. But I get rid of Sweep Away. It really doesn't do much against him, so I don't get punished too hard. He's just drawing nothing relevant. So now at his end of turn he does nothing again. I can just Chandra's Fury him and start to deal damage and put him in Rolling Thunder range. He finally draws a relevant card, which is Elvish Visionary. And then Vulturous Haven is a perfect spell shrivel target. So he doesn't have the mana to cast or pay for it. So I'm just denying him cards, and I'm up 12 cards on him. And the Visionary dies to the Chandra's Fury. And I keep drawing more Chandra's Furies. So now I can just start hitting him in the face. I have a Touch of the Void now. So in case, I'm kind of suspecting he's going to pulse end of turn there, but he doesn't. And so I just keep furying down to 7. And Arc Lightning down to 4. And then I'm just going to touch down to 3. If he had pulse or Lore Master, he would have played it last turn. So he just doesn't have it. This also lets me play Rolling Thunder for the maximum that I can possibly play it next turn as well. So I even draw land, so I can play it for 9. So I tap out, play it for 9. So he would have had to have had double Pulse of Marasa to survive that turn, but he would have cast it if he had it earlier. So yeah, got game 1 through just 1 Pulse. So a little lucky that he didn't find another. So in this game, you have to rely on Rune Processor to deal damage, and not just your burn spells, because I expect them to be able to get the pulse lock going. This hand looks pretty good. On the play, though, I believe he put me on the play. That's a little annoying. I would like to be in the draw with this hand, obviously. I play the island because I don't want to crack the Evolving Wilds turn 1. So now it depends what he plays. Elvish Visionary. So Visionary I don't care about. I don't want to crack it. Drew Touch. Touch of the Void's a good draw, but I need to hit land. Hits me for 1. I decided to crack this turn just so that I can play one of my 3 drops, like Arc Lightning or whatever, in case I do draw land. But Tormenting Voice is pretty good. I don't know what I get rid of here. I get rid of the Rune Processor. Yeah, it's because I'm not going to cast it anytime soon. That's really ugly. I drew no land and had to discard. So because I missed my land drop, I had to discard a Chandra's Fury and a Rune Processor. Let's remember that. Hold that in your memory bank. Those 2 cards might have a relevant. Ouch. And Tuco Husk kind of invalidates these touches of the void, which is annoying. So I'm going to Tormenting Voice again. Probably get rid of this Spell Shrivel since I don't have the mana or time to cast it anyway. Ugh. Spell Shrivel. And I guess one of these touches of the void has to go. Pretty unreal. I've drawn 2 land and 16 cards. So looks like he's drawn 16 cards, 5 land, and has 7 cards in hand though. So he's up 2 creatures and 3 lands on board, which is huge advantage right now. I can get back in this though. I just need a Treasure Cruise, hit a land. Okay, I do. And then what? I guess I have double Fiery Impulse, so I can Fiery Impulse. The first one's only going to be 2 damage, so I can target the Nantuko Husk. And he has a choice to make. He can sack a Zaven or not. If he chooses to sack the Aven, then I'm going to just impulse it again, and then they're both dead. If he does not, if he doesn't sack it, then I'm just going to impulse the Aven anyway. So it doesn't matter what he does, they're both going to die. And this makes it so that I don't have to discard. So yeah, that's pretty sweet. And he does nothing, so I'm pretty much right back into the game, I think. He's got a morph, but I have touch. Oh, I don't know. I guess I don't bone to ash it, because my thought is if he's got pulse, then I don't want him to start the pulse loop. And so I figure I just have to go for Touch of the Void here. He could have negate, so it's a little risky, but I go for the touch and it lands. So I'm just trying to keep him off the pulse lock. Okay, I finally draw a 5th land, which is good. Okay, 6th land, good. So he draws a morph now. He only has 5 mana open, but I do have a negate in hand. So I think I go for the Bone to Ash because I can hold open negate. Because if he's going to pulse now... Ooh, he's reacting to this. Alright, he's got his own Disdainful Stroke. I could let that resolve and then follow up with Touch of the Void, but my thought is I can draw a card with Bone to Ash. If he has another negate, I'd rather have him get it out of his hand, and then when I follow up Touch of the Void, he doesn't go for it. But he obviously doesn't have the negate, and he only had the Disdainful Stroke because he didn't negate the previous turn, so I'm fine with it dying, but now that is a little risky because if he pulses it back, it's going to be annoying. So I maybe should have let that Disdainful Stroke resolve. So yeah, so now I have to discard. Looks like I have Ruin Processor at the ready next turn. Vulture save and I can't do much about. Don't have any instant speed, anything. He sacks it for the 4 mana Sign in Blood, which is a good play. And it plays a Sky Spawner, which is fine. So now I have some options. He could have Disdainful Stroke again. So I don't think I can play this Ruin Processor quite yet. And I think I'm going to take some damage here, and the off chance that he plays another Eldrazi Sky Spawner, I want to be able to kill them both. And instead he just plays Ruin Processor. That's actually really bad for me. Because I sided out my sweep aways. I don't have Bone to Ash or Sweep Away, which was decent against it, but not the best. So I just end a turn Chandra's Fury to kill his guy. Now I'm kind of forced to playing my own Ruin Processor. And he's got the Disdainful Stroke for it, so that's really unfortunate. I do choose to process Monastery Lore Master because he already had one in his graveyard anyway, so I think gaining 5 life takes me off of a turn 2 clock here, which is fine. And he's got the pulse, so that stinks. But he plays it, again, erroneously. I think erroneously, so I can touch it. He still has 1 in his graveyard, but if I draw another touch, I can at least kill it. Here I taste my medicine again. He draws another Lore Master, though. So I just go for the Fury since whatever. Draw Cruise. And draw a Ruin Processor, so I have to play this Ruin Processor. It's kind of obvious he took out his removal spells. So game 3, if I lose this, probably have to put Oblivion Strike back in his deck. Here he has a seemingly free attack with the 4-3, because if I kill it, he just pulses it back and I take 7. But I don't oblige. I will gladly bounce off his Ruined Processor. Don't let his 4-3 die. That's one rule against playing against Lore Master. You don't want it to die. Then he just chains off some Elvish Visionaries and he pulses back Lore Master anyway. And then doesn't do anything. So I end the turn by killing his Ruined Processor. And I can Arc Lightning to kill his chump blockers. And I guess I do kill his guy because I know he has Pulse in hand anyway. Or I guess no, he used his Pulse. He used his Pulse to get back a Lore Master. So right now I know he has a Lore Master in hand, but he chose not to play it. So it makes me think he might have a counterspell. But by clearing his board and attacking for 7, it means he's not attacking me next turn. Yeah, he did have the Pulse anyway, but I have to negate. That's actually a really key play. So if you look at the board state now, I'm up 10 cards on him. He's got some relevant cards in hand potentially, but I'm bashing him for 7, which is like a 4-turn clock here, and he's got no pressure on me. So again, go back to turn whatever, turn 2 through 5 in the beginning of the game, where I had to discard Ruined Processor, Chandra's Fury, Spell Shrivel, and Touch of the Void. I could have chosen to discard other cards, obviously, but that's virtual card disadvantage, that if I just had those resources in this game and drew my land like a normal human being, I'd be winning very easily. He chooses not to chump block, which is weird. So it makes me just say, hey, let's just kill his guy. He's going to pulse it. But at least I'm not getting attacked. But he can gain 6 and I deal 7. That's what's happening now. He's got Witness the End, which is my piece of technology that I like to bring in against the mirror match. It's really not that good against me. But he's got me for lethal here. He's got Witness number 2 and just unmorph his guy. So I didn't play defensively because I can't win the game by not attacking. I really can't. He just pulses every turn and gains infinite life by chump attacking, you know? So I need to beat down. Game 3. This time I get to choose to be on the draw, which I am happy about. This hand looks pretty great. I will keep. And I drew land. That's exactly what I wanted to draw. So I get to leave open Fiery Impulse. Sweet. I draw another land, which is exactly what I wanted to draw. And even it comes and play tap land is totally fine with me. And first play of the game, Eldrazi Sky Spawner. I can't counter it, but I do Fiery Impulse the Sky Spawner because I'm kind of priced into taking damage from it. Unless if I Touch of the Void it, and I don't want to Touch of the Void it. I want to save that for the Lore Master. So I do have to take the 1 here, but I'm fine with that. I get to hold open a lot of counter magic. Incubator Drone, I think that's an easy Bone to Ash target. Lets me draw a card, so keep hitting my land drops, which is great. Only taking 1 damage, which is great. Fortress Haven, fine Disdainful Stroke targets. I don't want him drawing more cards. And then Treasure Cruise, so perfect. So now I get to Treasure Cruise and leave 2 mana open for negate. And I hit some more lands, which is fine, I guess. Would have liked to have hit a Ruined Processor. He makes a play that I was hoping for. It's a weird play for him because I have the Touch of the Void. he does effectively play around negate and disdainful stroke by doing that. Problem is that I have negate in hand. So when I go for this touch of the void, I realize he could have negate, but he has to sack the sign to play it, which is fine with me. And I just negate right back. So I feel very favored in this position. I'm up 4 cards. I'm about to play Rune Processor. Now, the reason why I don't is because, again, with 3 cards in hand for him, I think he really hasn't had the opportunity to play Disdainful Stroke. I think I kind of put him on Disdainful Stroke. If he had any creature, he would have played it. The only removal spells that should be in his deck are maybe 1 or 2 Oblivion Strikes, because he knows I don't have many creatures. So until I can hit my 9th land, I do not want to play Rune Processor. Right now I only have 8, so if I run it out there, then I'm shields down for negate. So even a second Rune Processor doesn't make me want to cast one. And it turns out, okay, he goes for his own Rune Processor. That's interesting. They gains 5 life. And I taste 1 damage. Draw another negate. So it's a little awkward. If I just wait, then yeah, I don't know. If I wait and don't cast Rune Processor, I could end up taking too much damage. So this play is risky in that he could have Oblivion Strike. Which would be bad for me. So I gain 5 life, even though Monastery Lore Master is not a card I want to put back in his graveyard. But I do have 2 more touches of the Void. And he could just get back Vulture or save it anyway, which actually might be better for him. Just drawing more cards might be better. But he doesn't. He gets back to Lore Master. And does he play it? Yes. With being tapped out. So now I get to Touch of the Void it. And kind of, again, negate the effect. And I Claustrophobia his guy. And start bashing with my own. Again, I'm fine trading 7 for 1. And looks like he does not have a removal spell for my guy. But he does have a second Rune Processor. But I'm prepared. This time I have Disdainful Stroke ready. And he doesn't have negate. I think he would have negated that. Draw another Touch of the Void. Really good draw. So now I'm pretty sure I can play my 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, I still haven't drawn my 9th land, so can't run this out. That's awkward. He plays another Rune Processor. So he's just beating me to the punch because I'm playing around Disdainful Stroke, which might be a waste. Arc Lightning's not doing much here, so I just ship it. And yeah, this is quite annoying. Any attacks? No attacks. Finally hit my land, so now I'm going to plan on playing Rune Processor next turn. So yeah. Let's see what he's got. Nothing. Alright, he's done a lot of nothing. Hasn't killed my guys or played creatures, so might as well probably just get flooded. So when I play this, yeah, he goes for the Disdainful Stroke, and I have the negate ready. And this time is different, though. This time, I do not put the Lore Master back into their library. For one, I don't need to gain 5 life. I actually think I'm in the aggressive position here. And I don't want them to have a nice pulse target now that they have infinite mana in play. Okay, so this is going to be a sweet turn for me. I attack with just 1, and it entices this block. This block is insanely good for me. Mainly because I have Chandra's Fury plus negate backup when he only has 1 card in hand. So nothing can go wrong here. So I get to kill Sky Spawner, the token, and the Elvish Visionary, so that I'm only dealing getting dealt that 7 damage from the Rune Processor, but the 1 extra from the Fury makes my Rune Processor kill his. So that was like a pretty nuts Chandra's Fury. Pulse on Ruin Processor is trying to happen, but I got the negate for it. And I'm bashing for 14, so, and I have plenty of burn spells in hand, so I just fire off an Arc Lightning here. I'm going to Chandra's Fury at end of turn. He's got Cruise. I let him play that guy because it's going to die. Vulturous Aven. In response to the Vulturous Aven, I can kill it, so that if he tries to exploit that Ruin Processor, he will not draw 2 more cards. Or he will not, yeah, he will not draw 2 cards. He won't lose 2 life. But the life doesn't matter. I just don't want him to draw cards. I don't want him to draw another Pulse. And instead, he's got Witness the End. Unfortunately for him, he's about to time out, and he times out right now. My play, I guess he's dead on board, right? I can discard anything except for Chandra's Fury. I'm going to play Chandra's Fury at end of turn, put him down to 8, kill both of his board of blockers, and then hit him for 14, and so he will go to -6. So yeah, down to the wire. I was pretty low on time as well, but as you can see, Sultai Grind is not completely unbeatable. It looks like blue-red, whether it's the Prowess aggro deck or the blue-red control burn deck, has some game against Sultai control. So it's kind of weird. The strength of Sultai control has a really strong late game with the Pulse and Lore Master, but at the same time, it's got a really slow deck that doesn't necessarily punish or have the capability of punishing slow draws or mana stumbles or anything like that. So interesting for me to be on the side against Sultai Grind for once, but it didn't feel that bad. I think having Negate and Disdainful Stroke is really important. I think having Touch of the Void and or Oblivion Strike is really important at taking out the Lore Master chain. What else? I think Treasure Cruise is also super important too. You just need to be able to keep up with card advantage. So yeah, interesting games for sure. Alright, stay tuned for the finals.